can finish it. There's no guaranteed, but I'm as always very over optimistic. I thought that we're going to cover all other books as well, but let's try to cover at least this, like to achieve something. Okay, so continue. And it says, there are few in this world who recognize the truth. Some are not wise enough to recognize it. Just as one whose legs are amputated cannot climb the ladder, likewise one cannot ascend the ranks of the wisdom without understanding. And there is one who is wise, but so steeped from his youth in the desires of this world that he employs all of his wisdom to attain his desires. Right? We spoke about this today as well, and to satisfy his evil inclination. He has become so habituated in evil acts from his youth that they are now ingrained in him, and it is extremely difficult for him to free himself from the net of the sins. And there is yet another who has the wisdom to recognize the truth as well as a will to walk in the righteous ways, but who is not associated with the wise. Right? I mean, we're going to explain all this. So you see how powerful this book is. So he has not associated with wise enough to hear from them the wisdom and the proper path. And who as a result walks in darkness. He may be compared to a person who has a treasure in a house, but who unaware of this treasure sells the house to someone else. Okay. So okay. Contemplate. All men's character traits are different from the other. Are competing for attention. This one pulling him here, and the other one pulling him there. And the evil inclination assists every trait, and incites men to choose evil. He is like a man walking in the wilderness, who is confronted by bear, lions, leopards, wolves, and many other predators. This man must open his eyes and fight each one. If he closes his eyes for one instant, these beasts will tear him apart. So is a man in general. His evil traits, such as lust, haughtiness, hatred, anger, and the like, are constantly circulating through his heart. And if he ignores them and does not correct them, he will remove the lights of truth from his heart, and he will group in the darkness. In this regard, it is written, I have set Hashem constantly before me. Okay, so let's stop here and go into the beginning. Okay, so from the beginning of this section. And it says, so now we see that different kind of people. So as we see that we advances from less virtues to the more virtues. Okay, but still there is a problem. As you see, in every kind there is a problem. There's a few in the world who recognize the truth. So now, right, they know what the truth is. Okay, some are wise enough to recognize it. Okay, some are not wise and now enough to recognize. So few can recognize the truth. There are some not wise enough to recognize it. Just as the one whose legs are amputated cannot climb the ladder. So meaning, okay. Likewise, one who cannot ascend the ranks without wisdom and understanding. So in order to climb the ladder, you need the feet, right? So Right. So in order to get to the wisdom, a person must have understanding. So understanding is a first step. Okay. And there is one, and there is one who is wise, but so steeped in his youth and in the desires of this world, that he employs all his wisdom traits in desires to satisfy his own inclination. And one does not have understanding, wisdom, because he does not have understanding. Another person, he is wise, right? He has wisdom, but he's not going to do anything with this wisdom, right? Because again, as it says here, he has this desire from his youth, so he got used to it, and he understands it's wrong, but he cannot do anything. I mean, he said that he cannot do anything about it, and he continues in his wrong ways. He has become so habituated with evil acts from his youth, so there is now so they are now ingrained in him, and extremely difficult for him to free himself from the net of sins. Right. So the more person repeats the sins, the more the sin becomes ingrained in him. Meaning, it becomes almost like his identity, almost like part of him. Right? Is it possible to root it out? 100%, because our neshama is pure. Right? But it's going to be like the more times per person repeated, the more he's attached to this sin. So the more difficult it's going to be. Right? And same as the person, as we were answering this question earlier on today, when a person was yes, he does the show from time to time, but then lapses and go to the same issue. That's of course the problem. And there is yet another who has the wisdom to recognize the truth as well as will to walk the righteous ways, right? And so this this kind, meaning the previous kind, who is wise, who has a wisdom, but he's full of desires, and another person who has the wisdom and he recognizes the truth, and as well as the will to walk the righteous way. So, and this person, he has a wisdom, and he wants, of course, he's not there, right? I mean, he knows that he has to go to the right path, but who has now associated with the wise, enough to hear from them wisdom in the proper path. Who is the result work in darkness. So these people, person, I'm going to learn myself. I'm going to study myself. What Rabbi does, he reads from the book. I can read from the book. He's smart. Why he's smart? Because he read the books. I can also, I actually can buy even better books, like whatever I can buy. He has a library. Did you see my library? And sometimes you see the people library, the books are so pristine, they were never opened. Guess what? Never opened, even once. Right? So this person is, he's wise and he wants to change, but he does not associate himself with righteous people, but people who can advise him. It does not say righteous with the wise. Is a wise person. Commentary. Shlomo HaMelech said in Mishlei 13:20, one who walks with the wise will become wise, meaning associate with yourself with with wise people, and you hear him speak, you see him act, and you're going to it's going to affect you. As we said today, our environment affects us very much. So even though a person was not wise until now, so now he will become wise. This means that by observing their actions and how they conduct themselves, we will learn from them, right? Exactly as we said. So again, this means by observing their actions, right, and how they conduct themselves, he will learn from them. So it says by Mitzudas David. The Medrash Yalkut Shmonim compares one who associates with wise to someone who enters perfumery, right? Even if he buys or handles nothing, and his clothing will retain the pleasant smell all day, right? So, right, there is no essence to the smell, but because he went there, so it's not like he sprayed on himself, nothing, right? Right, nothing, but he's going to smell good. Why? Because he went to the perfumery, right? So, and this perfumery is association with righteous people, wise people, right? So and he has the wisdom, and he has and he wants to do the right thing, but he does not ask a right person advice. So he's the one who would walk in darkness. Again, as we said many times today, because a person cannot see their own faults, so he would not be able to guide himself. He may be compared to a person who has a treasure in his house, but is not aware of the treasure. So he will sell the house to someone else. So he has a treasure in the house, and can you imagine? So maybe his grandfather or somebody hid it between the walls, and now he sells this house because it's old and need renovation, and let somebody else renovate it. And guess what? This person who decided to renovate, he breaks the walls and find all of the treasure. And for this we have commentary. No, I apologize. We don't have commentary. It's later on, right? So meaning it is there. It is there. So, but he did not do the next step to consult with the right person, or associate with himself with the right person, and to contemplate all men's character traits, one different from another, are competing for attention, right? So as we learn from Rambam, a person has many character traits, and many times one depends on another, and he has to work on many of them, not only one of them, and all of them compete for attention, right? This one pulling him out here, and the other one pulling him there, right? So all of the character traits, and the evil inclination sees every trait and incites men to choose evil. So the job of evil inclination to stop us from advancing. So how to stop? So meaning to say to us that this is important and this is important. So a man, a woman, a person cannot work on two different subjects and two different topics at the same time. Right? So sometimes yes, but most likely not. So we have to concentrate on one and try to achieve some positive result in one trait, and then only then to switch to another, right? Or if they're connected, so I try to see the main root. Okay, right? So and the job of evil inclination to confuse us. He's like a man walking in the wilderness, who is confronted by bears, lions, leopards, wolves, and many other predators, right? So meaning there are many dangers in a person's life, but he's not careful. This man must open his eyes and fight each one. If he closes his eyes, for instance, these bears will tear him apart. So with the man in general, right? So meaning right with all of us. The evil traits such as lust and haughtiness, hatred, right? So again, lust, haughtiness, hatred, and anger, and the like, constantly circulating through his heart, meaning always keep persons busy, and person cannot concentrate on anything. So that's we must remember. So all of the things, all of the thoughts that we have, it's only like advice from evil inclination. You have to be very careful about it, right? And if he ignores them and does not correct them, right? Ignores them, does not correct them, he will remove the light of truth from his heart. So very important, right? So he's going to lose for sure, and he will group in darkness. In this regard, it is written, "I have set Hashem constantly before me." So it's the same verse from Tehillim 16:8. So unless you have clear goal where to go and what and you know this whatever is going on, that's what Eitzachara sent it. So the person is going to fail. Commentary. Now commentary. And says, before any actions or move that I make, I view Hashem before me. One never knows when or where Yetzer Hara may strike him. Meaning before making any decisions, so said, okay, I'm prepared to do this and that, but what Hashem thinks about it, right? So is it right or is it wrong, or it's questionable? And why this questionable idea came to my mind? Why? I'm a Torah learner. Why would it come to my mind? Right? We have to analyze this. So continue. It's like sub commentary. So let me move the bookmark. And it says, keep your guard up, right? As explaining in explaining why the Torah emphasizes that it was during the time of harvest, the Reuven found the Dudaim that he brought to his mother Leah. Rashi says it is mentioned to praise of the Shvatim, for although it was a harvest time and the farmers usually don't mind a passerby to snatch few stalks, Reuven did not steal from others, but rather took from which was ownerless. So Rashi, Bereshis 13:14. See, it's also Bereshis Rabbah. Okay, so meaning what? So it's famous story when Reuven found for his mother Leah this Dudaim, right? And then it says that and Torah says, and it was time of the harvest. So Rashi right away says, what is the connection? What is the connection? He did not take something from the harvest. So it was beginning of the summer, end of the summer. It was fall, was spring. What is the difference does it make? Right? He took something like some herb that free growing, right? Wild herb, flower, right? So what is the connection? So Rashi said no, it's actually big connection. So to praise to praise Shvatim, the tribes, right? About what? So he could even though these owners would not mind. So they have so much wheat. So if somebody take a few stalks, look, there's so much is going to fall, and he does not care, because he has a huge abundance of it, right? So even despite of this, it would not be stealing because the owners would not mind. Reuven took something ownerless, right? Even it was on the field before. In between the stalks of wheat, right? I think it was not in the field, but even if in the field, but since people see it as something not undesirable, so if he would pluck it, there is no problem. So Rabbi Moshe Feinstein Zatal asks a rather obvious question: is the fact that not stealing so virtuous that someone on a level Reuven deserve praise for it? Amazing questions, right? So that's the greatness of great tzaddikim. So Rabbi Moshe Feinstein said, right, if these tribes of Reuven was so virtuous, so Torah has to praise her for not stealing. Of course, are you expected this person to steal? You expect a person who who's been in jail 17 times. Right, for stealing, and this time he said, I'm going to stop stealing, and then he had the opportunity to steal. He did not steal. Yeah, that person for sure, he deserved the praise. But Reuven, head of the tribe, the righteous Reuven, he did not steal, and we praise him for that. Right, the thought of course much deeper than that. There is the kind of behavior which is expected of every decent human being. Right, every decent human being, as we said earlier before. So, nobody is going to praise for him not to steal, not to kill. Yeah, he's not a killer. What? You expect it to be a killer? No. I'm just wanna praise you, Baruch Hashem, that you're not a killer. Right? A person would take in all of us would take in the wrong way. Right? Why would Torah add extra words? So it was harvest. to tell us that information would be about someone as great as Reuven, right? So that he did not steal and like we give him compliments. Rabbi Moshe Zatzal answers that the Torah is not praised in the fact that Reuven did not steal. Rather, the Torah is praised in the fact that he understood fully that no matter who you are and how great you have become, the Yetzer Hara is always on offense and can strike anyone at any time. So just because you're ruined, just because you have a lot in your house and you're a rich person, you're son of a rich person, does not mean that Yetzer Hara is going to not let you alone and you're not going to steal. Right, so it's very, very important, as we said earlier today, and answering one of the questions. We're not allowed to put ourselves in situation of the test. It's situation of danger. Right, as beautifully says here, the Yetzer Hara is always on the offense and can strike anyone at any time. It can even entice someone as great as Reuven to steal. Right, so even he does not need, but nobody's looking, so I can take. Reuven's greatness was that he kept his guard up all the times to protect himself from the possible onslaught of Yetzer Hara. Right. Never relying on superior stature. Right. So just because he's superior stature, it's not expected for him. Nobody would suspect that he's going to steal. Right. But still, a person must be careful. That is true greatness. And for that, the Torah praises him. The lesson is simple. Always be on alert. Always keep your guard up. See Drash Moshe. That is the books of the drashas from Rabbi Moshe Feinstein. That's all. Malbim explains that the counsel of Torah and inspiration of Mussar act as an equalizer to the person's physical desires. Again, Malbim explains that a counsel of the Torah and inspiration of the Mussar acts as an equalizer of one's physical desire, the desires and passions, and lead that lead one away from Hashem. Okay. David HaMelech is saying that it was a combination of Torah and Mussar that kept him from going astray. So also the answer to the question that as before, that Torah and Mussar, that the only thing that can help that save a person. Not help, but this save. Okay. So let's try to continue a little further. And it says, when man is born, he is weaker in the body and mind than other creatures. For on the day that they are born, all of other creatures walk, eat, and fend for themselves. But after a man is born, great toil is required to raise him. And just as he needs much involvement in his body, so he needs even great involvement for his soul to perfect his wisdom and to understand which are the right paths. Because without the guidance of a teacher, man conducts himself as an animal. Yet his heart is like a board, ready to ride on. If this board is in the hand of a fool, he will describe meaningless things on it until it is ruined and is no longer of any use. It's amazing, like a parable. But if it's in the hand of wise man, he will write upon a list of his affairs, his needs, and his deeds, by means of which he will provide for and feed his children, so that he will derive much benefit from this board. So too it is with the heart of man. The fool draw upon its figures of the vanity and the falsehood, and write upon it without engraving, and they fill their hearts with thoughts of emptiness. But the wise write on the tablet of the heart the writings of Hashem, which is the foundation of the Torah and mitzvahs. And Torah and the mitzvahs, and the wisdom, and the character traits until the soul shines with the brightness of the firmament. It is for this that Shlomo HaMelech intended when it is to this that Shlomo HaMelech intended when he wrote, "Tie them to your fingers, write them on your tablets of your heart." Mishle 7:3. Okay, so let's do this piece. Okay, so from the beginning, when man is born, he is weaker in body and mind than other creatures. So we know that when a calf is born, or a deer is born, so like after a few hours, that they can continue walking. All right, or a sheep is born, so like after I don't know, a few hours, literally. Of course, they're not that strong, but they can take care of themselves. They can go to the bathroom. They can drink water or something, eat something. Like they're very, very independent. But a person, a little baby, is not independent, right? For on the day they're born, maybe the other creature, all other creatures walk, eat, and fend for themselves. So meaning in this sense, in the physical sense, person is very inferior to animals, right? But after the man is born, great toil is required to raise him, right? So for how many years until a person, this little baby, can go to the bathroom themselves, until they can eat themselves, right? Just a second to raise. And just as he needs much involvement in his body, so he needs a greater involvement with his soul, right? So like to take care of his body and soul also, right? That's main part of the person, right? Involvement in the soul to perfect his wisdom and understanding which path is right. So meaning these things must come from parents, right? If not, it's a different story, but that's obligation of the parents, like to not to say, well, when he's going to grow up, he's going to choose the right path. No, don't wait until he's going to make all the mistakes in the world, right? So you must direct him to the right path. But without the guidance of a teacher, man conducts himself like the animal, right? So like animal follow their physical desires. Yet his heart is like a board, right, ready to write upon, right? So meaning like a clean board. It's nothing written, so meaning whatever you're going to write is going to stay there. If the board is in the hands of a fool, he will inscribe meaningless things on it until it is ruined and no longer of any use. Right, so if it's full, like not religious people, they would fill these things with so much useless information. So until this young man, this young woman that are so full of this nonsense that they cannot absorb any more like some of holiness. But if it is hands of the wise man, he will write upon it a list of his affairs, right? So a list of his affairs, his needs and his debts, by the means of which he will provide for and then feed his children, so that he will derive much benefit from this word. So, and the wise man is going to teach this person useful skills in this life, what to do, how to live this physical life, and needless to say, spiritual. So, too is with the heart of man. The fools draw upon it figures of vanity and the falsehood, and write upon its wrongful engravings, right? All the fools, right? They say that this is important, like it's the most important thing is to be healthy. It's not up to you to be healthy or not healthy. I say no, be healthy, just be healthy, and it's the most important thing. Or like this clown from my show, he said, right? He said the most important thing is to be happy, right? That's what he said, to be happy. Wrongful engravings, and they fill their hearts with the thoughts of emptiness, right? With the thoughts of emptiness, right? All these fools. But the wise write on the tablets of their heart the writings of Hashem, which is the foundation of the Torah and mitzvahs. Right, so that's so he has a clear path. Torah and mitzvahs and the wisdoms and the character traits until the source shine with the brightness of the firmament. Meaning, when you start start training a baby from his youth, right? It is to this that Shlomo HaMelech intended when he wrote, "Tie them to your fingers, write them on your tablets of the heart." So Mishle 7:3. Okay, so we have right. So we have commentary on this. According to Malbim, Shlomo HaMelech is advising a person that his heart and soul should be imprinted with the words of Hashem, heart and soul. So heart again is like evil inclination. So even his heart, even his essence would be good, right? Words of Hashem. For then all of his thoughts, emotion, and action will be conducted within the frameworks of Torah's philosophy. So it's not going to be contradiction and fight between heart and the soul. So between the evil inclination and good inclination, because the evil inclination, his heart, is going to be desire only what Torah desire, right? Because he does not know anything otherwise. This is precisely what the author is saying. The direction of life one chooses to go depends upon the embedded in his heart. What is embedded in his heart? Meaning is his heart, and meaning his character, his essence. Intellect is one thing, but if it's always fights with his heart, many times he would not draw the right conclusion. Okay, so the show that will be produced, will be result of the script that was written. Okay. Take serious heed in preparing the script. Okay. So meaning be careful what you're going to write there. Okay. Not only is the mind is terrible thing to waste, but also neshama is a terrible thing to damage. Okay. So let's see time. Maybe we can do a little break. Okay, let's see. Right, okay, so perfect time. So let's do a little break and we continue after it. Okay, right, to be continued, 5 minutes. So continue with answering the questions. So it says, just to clarify, if someone has a Torah, who has Torah wronged us, should we forgive this person, but definitely stay away from them regardless? Mm-hmm. What if it is someone very important to us? Does this depend on whether the person wronged us just a few times or he did it continuously? It's a tough question. So let's just to clarify. If someone who has a Torah wronged us, okay, so somebody is it's not simple like the ignoramus or epicurus. Someone who has the Torah wronged us. I think if in this situation there is and the person is present himself as a God-fearing person, so we have to talk to them, ask them. Maybe person is not aware of that he heard us. So if maybe as soon as he hears that that's how we feel, he would apologize and try to fix it. Right? So because if a person possesses Torah, there is somebody to talk to, right? So don't jump to any conclusion. Maybe it was a misunderstanding, right? Right. So I would advise try to talk to the person. Right. Should be forgive a person, but definitely stay away. But if you still just as we said, there's some people just possess the Torah, but no God not being God-fearing person. So it's the Torah is just knowledge, but not possession. Okay. Should we forgive that person? So we should forgive the person anyway, but definitely stay away. So again, we should try to see if a person is ready to rectify the situation, right? So I mean, before don't jump to any conclusion. Don't decide anything from the other side. So try to see communication is the best, right? So try to communicate. What if someone's very important to us? So needless to say, if someone very important, so I try to communicate for sure. Right? So it's somebody close to us, yes. Does this depend on whether the person wronged us just a few times or he did it continuously? I mean, it's relevant. You just ask, tell the person how you feel, and see what he or she answers, right? Okay. So next question: if a person still doesn't differentiate between good and bad, accurately. I'm sorry, accurately. Will his bad deeds done unconsciously lead to other bad deeds regardless? Yes, as we said, that the punishment for a sin is opportunity to do another sin. So sin is a sin. Of course, maybe a person is not going to be punished for inadvertent sin is purposeful one, but still, the outcome is the same. If person stick his hand into fire, is he not going to get burned because he did not realize that the fire is hot? Most likely he's going to get burned, right? So the consequences. Okay, so as a person can get discount in some sense if there's some things between him and Hashem, and if he's on the way and he's learning, but he did not get there yet. So that's when a person gets discount, right? So all of these things would be for sure unintentional. But if person ignores to learn what he must do, even though he has time meaning that he can breathe, right? So all of these things, and he, in some sense, purposely he ignores to learn of his obligation and his need of character development, right? So that's he's going to judge as a purposeful sinner, even though he did not learn. Okay, so I'm not sure how many times this this book was reprinted all of the generations, many times, many times. It's one of the famous books. So and person did not get to it, or did not get to Mislas Shirim, did not get to. Unfortunately, I mean the time is very short. I have 6 books here. We did not finish one. I don't know. Somehow I thought that we could get to all of them, but right. Okay, so continue. Right. So meaning if a person was on the way but did not finish, so that's one thing. Okay. Continue. Question about Yiras Shamayim. Okay. I wonder what is the better way for a woman to develop Yiras Shamayim. Given women generally learn less Torah than men. Okay. Would learning Mussar without Gemara help to develop sufficient Yiras Shamayim? Should one set up the specific study time for Mussar? What is sufficient for a woman to listen to Mussar when doing housework or cooking? Okay, so let's do from the beginning. Question about Yiras Shamayim. So a question about fear of heaven, right? As we said today, it's a preservation for all of the mitzvahs. So even though a person fix some character traits, if they do not add Yiras Shamayim to it, it's like almost useless. It's only a matter of time when the person is going to lose all this good character traits. Two examples that we gave today. One is a barrel. You will put the very expensive wine, but on the bottom is a small hole, tiny. But for sure, the wine is going to seep out. Maybe in one way, not in a day, maybe in a week or 2 weeks, but you're going to lose all the precious wine. Why? Because you don't have this preservative. Or they say strings of pearls, and you have a knot on one end. So if you cut the knot, guess what? You're going to lose all of your pearls. So that's definition of Yiras Shamayim. Not the definition, but practical application of Yiras Shamayim. I wonder if there is a better way for a woman to develop Yiras Shamayim, given a woman generally learns less Torah than men, right? So I mean, development of Yiras Shamayim through the works of Mussar, book like this, other books like lectures. Learning Mussar without Gemara. So Gemara has nothing to do with that. Gemara is right; it's the different spectrum. Help us to develop sufficient Yiras Shamayim 100%. Right, the work of Mussar is more than enough. Right, should one set up a specific study of time of Mussar? So I'm going to tell you what. A person is not going to set up a specific time of study of the Torah. It's only guaranteed, like a word is guaranteed, close to 100%, that a person is going to fail, after a short period of time, guaranteed. So only when a person has a strong schedule, right? Doesn't matter what time is it, but you know that 9 a.m. or I don't know 11 a.m. or 2 3 7 p.m. whatever time is it, I'm going to learn this half an hour. Doesn't matter what happens. Of course, there are exceptions in this life, but exception. So if nobody's dying, is nothing out of ordinary. So you should not change your schedule. So for a man, for a woman, it doesn't matter. If you want to achieve something in life, you have to stick to the schedule. Whatever it is, you decide your schedule, but it must be very very dedicated to the schedule. And people do do appreciate. And I think I said this story before. Once, a long time ago, many years ago, we had a gathering in my neighborhood. One person who I was friendly with a time ago, so he invited all the people. So he wanted to introduce a new person that moved to our neighborhood. I think to our neighborhood from Israel. So and he needed a connection, and all of us were working in the same environment, basically in business environment. So he said he thought maybe he would introduce us and all of the Torah observant people and stuff like that, right? So 1 second. Why did I start telling the story? 1 second, so escaped me. So he decided to take to. Okay, I apologize. I forgot. Sorry. Okay. Yiras Shamayim. 1 second, maybe I'm going to get it. Mussar. Oh yeah. So now I remember. So in the middle of the class, in the middle of this gathering. So a person said, 1 second, sorry, I have to go and I have a class now. So he has this Dafayomi class. So of course, I mean, they have a printout, maybe yes, maybe not. And so he sat next to the radiator, next to the window, and he was listening that, of course, on a speakerphone, so to bother everybody, right? So he was listening, and everybody was so impressed around the table, yeah, look at the dedication that he's that he's learning, despite of us. I was looking at people around. You serious? Don't you do it the same? The problem is with you. If you don't learn every day, and right, and if you don't have dedication. So of course I kept quiet. I did not say that if it would be interfere with my class, I would not be here. Right? Not that I come and listen when people are talking. Okay, but people admire it. So what my point is, if you tell a person, I'm invited sixth story. I'm sorry, sixth story. I cannot come because I have a class. But can't you move it? It's one time. No, I cannot move it. I cannot. I'm sorry. So maybe I'll come another day. Yeah, but this baby shower is in this time. Yeah, baby shower this time, and I have a conflict. So maybe another time. When another time, when we have another baby, I'm going to come. Maybe if he's not going to fit with my schedule. You understand? So and people do appreciate it, and that's what we have to do. We have to have like a schedule and stick to the schedule. No matter what, of course, there are from time to time there could be exceptions. Okay, right. Is it suffice for women just to listen? Yeah, it suffices to women to listen doing housework or cooking. Here is a thing. It's how much she's concentrated on listening. Right. Usually, a person cannot concentrate on two tasks. Right. But if, as I always say, if it's going to one of two times. Right, you listen first round and then second round. There is no problem. So you can listen while cooking. Okay. So last question, and we go back to our subject. Another question. Okay, a few more questions. When someone is looking for Jewish community, how can we know that if he should move there if there is a not well-known Haredi community? Right. So, I give you one example. So I was very surprised. I'm not going to mention the names because people want to to stay private. Some of my students, so studied in different countries. So he said, I'm planning. So he said, I'm not going to able to attend your classes because I'm admitted to yeshiva. Say yeshiva, where yeshiva, and he gave me the name. I mean, the name sounds familiar, because it's from olden days, from old European days, right? But I said, where is it? And he said, it's in this city, and this is the name. And I could not find on the internet any reference on all of the social networks. I wanted to see if it's kosher, not kosher. Zero. I mean, almost zero. But there is some mention in some Haredi newspapers. I was shocked. So these people, and it's actually there is a strong Hasidic community. They try to keep very low profile. So these people don't use the smartphones. Believe it or not, they went to it. One of the cities in Europe. So I think it was that's where the Hasidus originated, and they build yeshiva, and it's a very thriving Jewish community. But there's not no information on the internet. I found some articles, but that's it. No pictures, nothing. It's very interesting. So they're trying to keep a low profile, but very kosher people, the way I understand. Right? I heard of that. Rabbi I checked, check references. He's a righteous man. But in all other cases, I think it's exception. But you have to do your research and you see if they have a yeshiva. Right, so they must send kids somewhere. So if they are very spiritual and they like to dance during Kabbalah Shabbos and they're very very spiritual, have many 1,000 videos on their Facebook or something, right? And they perform together with women, right? But there is no yeshiva, right? So that's indication to stay away. I mean, because you need to send somebody kids. If they can send, they're very spiritual, but they send the kids to public school. That's the problem. You understand? So that's that's what we have to check if there is an issue. Okay. Continue. So should move there. Okay. So check first. So next question. Rav, could it be that we should consider everything that happens to us something that Hashem allows us to see, rather than seeing ourselves as a victim? Okay. Should we spend more time thinking about how we can forgive many people? Some tzaddikim have taught that we live in a bad experience. We live a bad experience because we see reflection of our actions, often not just from the past lives, but also in the current lives. Okay, so let's try to read again. Again, could it be that we could consider everything that happened to us something that Hashem allows us to see, rather than seeing ourselves as the victims? And let's split this into two separate things. One is not related, but it's a very important idea. So if Hashem put us in some situation, and He wanted us to be a witness or something, so like bystander, right? So it means it's for some purpose. It's to teach us a lesson, right? Meaning, Chas v'sholom, we were going about our business to buy potato in a grocery store, right? And we saw that somebody was being hit by a car. So, right, and you were witness, so it's for something. So, meaning we have to take it to our heart and say, maybe I was supposed to be that victim. Right? So Hashem showed me that even though I'm deserving this, but I got spared, right? But somebody had to get hit, right? So meaning that it was supposed to be me, chas v'shalom. It was decided on Rosh Hashanah, but maybe I changed my ways, or right, and I was spared, or maybe I did not change my ways, and that was supposed to be me being hit by the car. So I have to draw the right conclusion. So that's first situation when we just witness or something that is going on, or like we see the abuse or something. Like I don't know, as I said many times, when I go to shuls, so I go through the rough neighborhood. I mean, it's only two blocks, but basically people with trouble past and present and most likely future, right? So, right, and some like some people are fighting like a boyfriend, girlfriend. I don't know. They're not Jewish, right? And I saw myself like they broke up, like they went shopping together, and like I don't know what happened. They're screaming and yelling like him at her and her at him. Like I would go like on the road, like behind the cars, because I mean maybe she's going to kill him right now, or he's going to kill her. So the stuff like that. So why Hashem allow me to see that? So for a reason. Maybe I needed to see for my personal relationship. So to be grateful that my wife is not like that, right? So that she would not use the foul language or like to something like that. So for me to have appreciation, or maybe opposite. So if I continue behaving whatever this way, it can bring to this result as well. So right, so when we become witness of some situation, not part of it, so we have to draw the right conclusions, right? On sometimes I say Shalom Esani Goy, Baruch Atah Hashem, right? Elokeinu Melech Haolam Shalom Esani Goy. Thank you for not being like that. I'm not like that. So meaning, what does it mean? That I learn Torah and I don't never Chas v'Shalom turn to alarm the animals, right? The way they disrespect each other with such a word, I'm not sure how they can make up. I mean, okay, but it's very scary. So that's our first part. So if we like bystanders, we still must learn the lesson. But if something happened to us, that's the second part. So first of all, we must understand, so Hashem allowed this to happen. And just so we know, he allowed it to happen, meaning that we deserve it for whatever reason. We deserve it. So if it would not be this person, it would be somebody else. But whatever happened to us, this bad situation, it would happen anyway. That's very important. Because we did not prevent it through our change of character, right? So is this person wrong? 100%. But Hashem signed off on this. So if Hashem signed off on this, means that it's my fault, right? Right. So do we see ourselves as a victim rather than Hashem allows us to see rather than seeing ourselves as a victim? Okay. Should we spend more time thinking about how we can forgive many people? Some tzaddikim have taught that we have live a bad experience because we have a reflection of our actions. Right. So I mean that's true. So we have to when some bad experience happen, we have to reflect and see why these things are happening to me. And sometimes, I'm not talking about this case, in general, this bad thing happen to people to make them softer. So some people are tough. When somebody is in pain, when somebody is struggling, they're tough. So they say toughen up. Why you crying baby? So you're not crying baby because of your situation. So Hashem would send this person trouble, right, to soften the person down. And I also witnessed this situation. Now this tough guy, he turned to be a crying baby. It's very interesting. It's very sad, but so we have to see and try to understand from the details of the situation what Hashem is trying to tell us. Right? It could be to teach us a lesson, or to warn us, or something else. It depends on the situation. Okay, so again, there are many possibilities, but we have to dwell on exactly on details, what happened. So that person who did it to us, it's absolutely irrelevant. And about forgiving people, so again, it was signed off in the heavenly court. This thing had to happen to us through this person, another person. It's absolutely irrelevant. That person will volunteer to be the bad guy or to be the bad girl, and they're going to be punished for that. But if not for him, not for her, it would be somebody else. It's not up to them. And Od Milvador, it's only all comes from Hashem, and that's we always must remember. All come from Hashem, so it was him through bad messenger, right? Maybe not bad messenger that Hashem used because they volunteered. Right, and another hand, we should not volunteer to be the one that punish other people. You understand? Because it says in our Holy Torah, Hashem performed good deeds from our meritorious people. Right, well, whatever he wants to do good in this world, right, he would do it from meritorious people. And bad deeds for not meritorious people, from the sinners, right? Through the sinners. So we don't want to be like these bad messengers. So Hashem has 903 ways to kill a person. So let him kill the person. Don't get me involved. You understand? So that's why it's proper to forgive a person if we do insist on our being right. So meaning you get ourselves involved, right? Maybe to avenge ourselves. So it's not proper. Again, remember, it's all from Hashem. It's all from our good and from all of the possibilities that's possible. He decided in His great mercy, it's good for us. How is it good for me? I have to figure out. Right, based on what on Torah. The more Mussar you learn, the more Torah that you learn, the more it becomes clear to us. Okay. And of course, as this book said, sometimes many times, if it's not clear to you, you have to ask somebody from a helicopter. So the person can be in a traffic. So like for example, we believe there is hills, right? So I mean, you see all of these red lights. I meaning the stops lights from other cars, but you don't know what's after the hill. Are they going or they still standing? Right. So maybe it's I don't know, half a mile. Right. Maybe that's it. Maybe half a mile, meaning and they're already cleaning up the roads, maybe up to the hill. As far as they see, there is traffic, but there, police is working. They taking a toll charge. They taking out this car to this direction. That car, after the car accident, to that direction. Then in 3 minutes, it's going to be clear. But without this somebody with a helicopter, I would not know. So that's why we need our Talmidei Chachamim and try to ask them questions, try to guide us. But many times, so a person has to apply themselves, to write down details of the situation, what happened. Again, this person, the perpetrator, is absolutely relevant. It's like this this mailman, right? If they send me an invitation from the court, I mean, it was decided in the court. They won they start the case against me, Chas v'shalom, right? It's not him, it was him or he was substitute. It's not even his neighborhood of this guy. He was substitute for this mailman or mailwoman who is sick this week, right? That's it. So you lashing out and them is not going to help the situation. We still must to go to the court. Understand? That's why it's not advised to be angry with these people. But on another hand, we understand this, since this person took upon himself this job to punish somebody, to cheat somebody, to insult somebody. So this is not a good person. So we have to disassociate with them, unless, as one of the questions was, a person has no choice. This person is related to us. It's our parent, Chas v'shalom, our spouse, Chas v'shalom, or I don't know, our brother or sister or aunt or some uncle. So that's a different story, right? So then we have to find the workaround. But if it's somebody stranger, we can just simply stop relationship right there. We must do it. So I'm not sure how many people I blocked, right? Because I saw this relationships are not going anywhere. It's that's it. So I mean, in our time, it's just amazing. So with this with the blockage. So in the olden days, in my days, we didn't have even caller ID, right? So you don't like the person, so the person can call you in the middle of the night, or 17 times a day, or 100 times a day. So what are you going to do? Exactly nothing you're going to do. You understand? But today, when we have this block, you just block the person. That's it. He does not exist. She does not exist. Right. So sometimes I will walk to shul, and I meet people who I actually block. So maybe they send me messages. Maybe, who cares? I don't want to do anything with them. Okay. So again, remember, it's all between us and Hashem, and these people are irrelevant. Okay. So let's do next question. Well, since we are people who have tendency to see the bad on others, but not on ourselves, correct? Yes. Does this trait have an extreme opposite side, albeit not common, where he could unnecessarily see bad things in himself, and he does not have really, not have in really, or blame himself for things he did not do? That's also right. So okay, so it is a problem, but let's see from the beginning. Since There are people who have tendency to see bad in others, but not in themselves, right? So in others, yes, but not in themselves. Okay. Right, but most likely, so if we see that it's bad in others, most likely we have the same issue, right? As we said, maybe yes, maybe no, but likely that these traits have extreme opposite side, right? So that's the question, albeit not common. Okay, where he would unnecessarily see the bad things on himself that he does not have in reality, right? So, or blame himself for things he did not do. So, in this case and all others, like of course, it's not proper for a person to beat himself, right? But we have to do investigation. Is it true? So I have this suspicion it was my fault. People got hurt because of me. Is it true? Like we have to do an investigation and see what did I do? What caused the issue, right? So I mean, it's hard to say. I mean, it's not proper for a person to blame everything on themselves, but if there is such a thought, we try to do investigation, right? Blame himself for things he did not do. So I mean, right. So if there is such a thought, thoughts do not come from nothing, as we learned today. You see how many topics we learned today. So it was some precedent. So we have to see, like, is it true or I'm making things up, right? Very important. So last question, and we go to book. Rav, is it disrespectful to the class if one eats something small to stay awake if he already drank almost the whole jar of coffee to them? No, there is no problem since it's for constructive purpose. It's not disrespect in the class, right? There was some like persons that I learned with. Right? It's like some time ago it happened, and he decided that he would snack, like he would lead the class, and he would snack like without video. I said like I can stop it. Like I understand when you need to sip water or coffee or tea or whatever you need from time to time. I understand there is no, but to eat the snack like you normal, like if I read, I don't mind, but when you read and you snack, so that's a little too much. But if a person just listen, and especially it's for constructive purpose to stay awake, there is no problem. Okay, so let's go back to our book.